Didn't have like the giant turkey from the Harry Potter set.
I love
Chag Sameach. Chag Sameach. Erev Tov, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight to help us celebrate the Festival of Shavuot, one of our harvest festivals, one of the three Shalosh Regalim, these major festivals coupled together with Sukkot and Pesach. And Shavuot helps us celebrate receiving Torah at Mount Sinai. And one of the most profound ways we celebrate this here in our community at CBSRZ is by marking the confirmation of our 10th grade students, when they confirm and affirm the place of Torah and Judaism in their lives as young adults. We have 4 incredible students, wonderful confirmands tonight, who will be leading us in worship, who will be speaking to you throughout the service, who will read Torah. They'll be reading from the 10 Commandments, which is the traditional text read on the Festival of Shavuot. And we will have the opportunity to celebrate this wonderful educational milestone in their lives. Hopefully you had a chance to pick up a Siddur, a prayer book, on your way in. Take a look at the spine. Make sure it does not say Shabbat on the spine. If it does, you need to grab one of the bigger ones because we're going to be in a festival service tonight, not a Shabbat service. And so now, bringing in a beautiful gift of flowers as a tribute to the harvest nature of this festival, it is a privilege now to welcome in our Confirmands of 5777.
We turn to page 385. Help me perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace.
Page 384.
beauty that delights the eye, freedom to be ourselves, the knowledge of Torah that shapes our moral being, the heritage of celebration that unites us as a people. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season.
Good job. I've come such a long way since my bar mitzvah roughly 3 years ago. Although I stopped going to religious school, I haven't stopped learning. Throughout these past few years, I have wrestled with the idea of God. Who or what are they? What is their point? But through these past few years, I have found the answers I've seen. God is just God. There isn't a right conception or idea of God in Judaism, and they are whatever you think they are. That's the point. This is where I feel I've grown the most. At the time of my bar mitzvah, I was still thinking that God performed all sorts of miracles. They do food to get daily miracles of getting up in the morning and being able to use our body, and many other daily miracles. But he doesn't do everything. For example, one certain sports team won a game. But why can't God, the figure who split the sea in half, not allow my team to win? The answer is not as simple as you might think. God doesn't work like that. God is rational, and they do things with purpose. They just set up people for success. I can pray to God that God allows my team to train and prepare hard, and then they will set them up for success. God doesn't control every daily facet of someone's life. They give me the miracle of allowing me to wake up in the morning and to move and allow myself to control me through the day, and I can control my actions. They gave me this because I'm one of their followers. God chose the Jews because they went to all the other people in the world and asked them if they would be their people, and sacred commandment, all people except the Jews. They said that they would follow God, and because of that, God has helped us ever since. The journey that I've been on these past few years after my bar mitzvah has taught me about God. After my bar mitzvah, I was involved in Judaism, but I didn't have my own opinions on key topics until now. We've just been told apart. The entire point of confirmation is to find my own meaning of things and to reaffirm my beliefs as a Jew God. Now, after this entire process, I have found my own opinion on matters of Judaism. I would now like to thank Rabbi Bells for guiding me through this entire process and helping me form my own opinion. Finally, I would like to thank my fellow peers for helping me and by sharing their opinions to me. That's given me a different perspective of things and helping me form my own opinion. As an old Jewish proverb says, who is wise? He who learns from everyone. Thank you.
Page 386, please rise.
Praise to you, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has chosen us from among the peoples, exalting us by calling us with mitzvot. In your love, our God, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy. This festival of Shavuot, season of receiving the Torah, a sacred occasion, a remembrance of the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from all the peoples and consecrated us to your service and given us the festivals, a time of gladness and joy. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Israel in festivals.
We continue on page 389. Now summer's prospect, the road ripening and growing softer, the promise of house of hills, the warming sunlight before us. Now the vision of Torah, the word of peace and growing gentler, the promise of getting fulfilled, the loving heart is open to the mind.
Chag Sameach. Writing a speech with absolutely no guidelines, boundaries, or prompts is unusually harder than expected. Without any rules, any rubric, any agenda, or any thesis, the list of interesting topics of ideas becomes seemingly endless. The thought of being wrong and the fear of sounding stupid in front of an entire congregation becomes simply treacherous. Our entire childhood lives, we have been told what to do, what to write about, and what to believe. Every year since I can remember, I was told what to do. I was told what to believe in, and I was told who to believe in. Every year is the same story of Passover and different renditions of why Hanukkah lasts for 8 nights. It became consecutively repetitive. We were told the stories in the Torah, and we were told the stories that we, as Jews, are supposed to live our lives by. Never did anyone ask me what I thought of Judaism, or if I believed in God. It wasn't until this past year, our confirmation year, that we were really forced to think for ourselves. Every one of us was challenged to form our own opinions of what God we believe in, and what, in our eyes, makes a good Jew. The most amazing part about this is that no matter how different our answers were, no matter how diverse our opinions became, we were all right in our own way. This year, as a confirmation student, made me become so proud of my religion and of being a Jew, because no matter what, no matter how we choose to practice this religion, it was all okay and accepted. So now that I have the opportunity to speak on behalf of my own thoughts and opinions, I feel the need to speak about the word holy. The word holy is not not necessarily going to temple every Friday for Shabbat or praying out of the Torah every night. The word holy is to give. Treat your neighbor as yourself and to give unconditionally to those in need. Judaism is all about giving to others in any way possible. We give back to others who are suffering because we as Jews suffered in Egypt. It is our duty to go into this world and leave our impact for the better. It is our duty to be remembered as making a positive difference in this world. The stories we are told throughout our youth can be used as resources. However, what we've learned in this past year of confirmation can be used as a guideline to live our lives by. To exercise our minds by thinking independently and forming an overall consensus of our beliefs is the most important thing I've learned. So for this realization, I thank all of you up here today. I also want to thank Rabbi Bellows for showing me that Judaism is what we make it. Please rise for the Hatzi Kaddish on page 392.
I continue on page 399. Sinai was only the beginning. The Torah has never ceased to grow. In every age, it has been purified and learned. It is a permanent core and expanding forever. It expands as the process of our religion grows. Nor are God's revelations confined to Israel. God has spent the inspiration of the great and good among all families of the earth. God's love and guidance reach out to all the world.
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu.
creation. A doubting age is one of restlessness and discontent with what is current. A doubt is an idea that is still alive. The doubt that the past has uncovered all things is to express faith that many things are still to be uncovered. The doubt that we have grown to our full stature and knowledge is to express faith that we may develop into beings of such power and dignity that we cannot as yet imagine what shall be.
May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life anew. May this night spread over us a canopy of calm, lifted by the blessing of rest. There will come a time when the morning will bring no word of war, famine, or anguish. There will come a dawn to rejoice in the peace of mind, heart, and being. Praise to you, the source of renewal within us, for the night's rest, for the promise of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkah shalom aleinu, kol amo Yisrael, v'kal v'yishalayim.
Throughout the years, I have gone. Throughout the years, I have grown up as a part of this congregation and community. As I've grown, so has my understanding of this religion. I'm not going to stand here saying everything has been perfect and everything's right now. I'm going to tell you what it's been like for me being Jewish. When I was young, I didn't really understand any of this too well. I also used to see services as a chance to celebrate and sing in another language. But now I understand this is an opportunity to learn and teach others while contributing and participating in the community. I used to think I was unique or alone because I was Jewish, but now it seems like every day that I meet someone new in the congregation and discover someone famous is Jewish as well. Back at Rosh Hashanah, when Rabbi Rose gave her a here and said that Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics, was Jewish, I was surprised, proud, and excited all at once. I think comic books often capture what it's like to be Jewish, whether intentional or not. Superheroes do what they can to help people. There are many more ordinary civilians than them, but they still do what they can for their communities. Like I said, things aren't perfect. There are conflicts, and sometimes we need to keep our identities a secret, or we have been targeted in the past. But eventually we manage to overcome these obstacles and grow together for a brighter future. We continue on to Tefillah on page 468. Page 468.
Stefan Saizita, Rufia,
Chag Sameach. I was diagnosed with depression in the 4th grade. For me, this meant that I was tired, sad, often for no reason, and felt I was alone and that nobody understood me. A few years later, I started getting excessive anxiety. I have had several anxiety attacks where my heart started racing and my breathing became quick and uneven, making me feel like I was about to pass out. Then, last year, I got my first migraine, finally going away after 6 weeks of throbbing pain. I started missing school because of my head, and then when I went back, I would have a lot of work to make up, which made me anxious. And unfortunately, stress and anxiety can trigger migraines, making me miss more school and starting the process over again. I've been through a lot in my 15 years so far, and every once in a while, the questions hit me. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is God doing this to me? What kind of God lets bad things happen to good people? These questions led me to think about how I view God. In my mind, God is not the one deciding everything that happens to everyone. God is not a puppet master who controls the world. Because if God was, then why would bad things happen to good people? God is not the one who brings everyone happiness all the time. God is not one being or within one person or object. In my mind, God is within the people and the things that bring you comfort and joy. God is within those who are there for you when you need them most. God is within those objects that remind you of the people who love you. God is not just in the people, but in my pets who always know how to cheer me up. This view of God has given me peace of mind. This view makes me feel more like God is there for me to comfort me when I need it. God didn't allow this. God didn't choose to let this happen to me. God has sent me comfort in the form of the people that love me. Even though I wouldn't have chosen these struggles for myself, they have made me a better person as a whole. I've learned how strong I can be and that I can make it through the hard times in life, so far at least. I've become more compassionate and empathetic for those going through hard times. I've become more conscious of the fact that people are going through things that we may not know about. This consciousness is very important because you never know how someone might take your words or your actions. Especially since there's such a stigma about mental illness, people don't often talk about the hard things they are going through. The stigma makes people feel like they can't tell people what they are going through for fear of judgment. This is part of the reason I wanted to tell my story about my experiences with depression, to break the stigma. I want people to feel like they are able and welcome to share their stories, their experiences. And I want people going through what I went through to know that they are not alone. I want people going through what I went through to know that God does not inflict these bad things onto good people. God is the one who is there for you and the comfort and relief you get from these bad things. Thank you.
Israel, may
On festivals like Shavuot, we have the pleasure of reciting psalms of praise in a section called Hallel. So I invite you to please turn to page 558 and please rise.
Praise Adonai for God is good. God's steadfast love is eternal. Let Israel declare God's steadfast love is eternal. Let the house of Aaron declare God's steadfast love is eternal. Let those who fear Adonai declare God's steadfast love is eternal. May the one who enters be blessed in the name of Adonai. We bless you from the house of Adonai. You are my God and I will praise you. You are my God and I will extol you. Praise Adonai for God is good. God's steadfast love is eternal.
As I looked, the poplar rose in the shining air like a slender throat, and there was an exaltation of flowers, the surf of apple tree delicately foaming. All winter, the trees had been silent soldiers, a vigil of wood. Their hidden feelings sprawled and became spores of black vines, barbed wire sharp against the ice-white sky. Who could believe then in the green, glittering vividness of full-leaf summer? Who will be able to believe when winter again begins after the autumn burns down again and the day is ashen, and all returns to winter and winter's ashes? Wet, white, ice, wooden, dulled and dead, brittle and frozen. Who will believe or feel in mind and heart the reality of spring and of birth, in the green, warm opulence of summer, and the inexhaustible vitality and immortality of the earth?
Please be seated. In just a moment, we are going to be turning to Seder Kriyat Torah Yom Tov, the service surrounding the reading of the Torah for Yom Tov, for a holiday or a festival. Before we do that, I wanted to just take a second to speak with you about Shavuot and why confirmation is linked with this holiday. And to do that, I want to give you a little bit of history about confirmation. Because immediately you might think, okay, that doesn't sound necessarily like a very Jewish event, confirmation. We know that that is a rite of passage marked in other religions at different times in childhood. Well, it goes back to the 1800s in Germany, when the Reform movement was trying to think of other ways of marking rites of passage in young adults' educational journeys, their Jewish educational journeys. At the same time, there was an awareness that there wasn't a companion ritual to bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah was strictly for boys, and bat mitzvah hadn't yet been invented. And there was recognition that in our modern lives, 13 isn't necessarily the turning point that it might have been hundreds of years ago. So there were congregations that began instead marking the age of 15 or 16. Seeing that that seemed more like an educational milestone, and of course it's later in the Jewish journey. And there was a way to eventually make it much more egalitarian. Boys and girls could celebrate it together as a class. Then with the advent of bat mitzvah in the early 1900s, congregations started doing both bar and bat mitzvah at 13, and then marking confirmation as a class and as more of an educational milestone than just an age that a student has reached in 10th grade. There are congregations that do it even in 12th grade, and they move it there, so there's that many more years of education, but we will stick with 10th grade, so you guys are okay. And as the early creators of confirmation wanted to figure out how to make this such an important ritual, they linked it to the Festival of Shavuot. This festival, as I mentioned, where we celebrate receiving Torah at Mount Sinai. We read the 10 Commandments, which we'll be hearing from our students in just a few moments. And that marks our people's acceptance of Torah, and in a way, our true first moments as the people of Israel, as Jews, right? We were finally given our constitution, as it were. And it's traditional, which we'll hear also, to read from the book of Ruth, especially chapter 1, when we learn of Ruth's individual conversion to Judaism and her personal acceptance of Torah, of teaching of mitzvot, and her decision to be a Jew. And so in all these ways, what better festival to link to our educational milestone here at the end of 10th grade, where our students, in a way, really affirm their place amongst the people of Israel, their choice to have Judaism be a big part of their lives. It really is significant, and it's very exciting. And so now we are going to be turning to the Torah service, which you can find on page 494, page 494 in your cedar room. And I'd like to invite you all to please rise.
Adonai
Everything's fine. So as I mentioned, tonight we have the pleasure of hearing from the Ten Commandments, and it is traditional that when the Ten Commandments are recited out loud during a service or in the sanctuary, that we rise for the recitation. And so what we're going to do, just to give you a heads up, is we'll be seated. When the aliyah, when the first blessings are done, everybody will rise, we'll hear a little bit of the text, then you'll have a chance to sit again. Okay, just so you're not standing up for a long, long time. All right, so we'll be getting up and down a little bit, okay? But if you have it at Chaim, one of our Chumashim, the red book that's outside, you can turn to page 441 if you'd like to follow along. 441, we're in Exodus chapter 20. And it is an honor now to invite up, oh here, I'll wait while people are getting some Chumashim. Gabe Surratt will be our first reader tonight, and so I'd like to invite him up. And for the Aliyah, for our blessings, I'd like to invite up the Surratt-Meninsky family. And now for our second Aliyah, it's an honor to invite up Ethan Corpuel and to deliver the blessings, his family. date for Morgan's bar mitzvah, which is in just a couple of weeks. So lots of simchas for the Corpuels. Thank you, Mazel. And now our third reader tonight is Tilly Rippin, and for the Aliyah blessings, it's a pleasure to invite up her family. Finally, our fourth reader, Rachel Cohen, and for the blessings, of course, her family. Please rise. the way, you may have noticed this really colorful, beautiful yad that our students were using. This is a yad that they made way back in 7th grade on their Camp Jewel retreat, and they decided they wanted to use it again today. So they read Torah so beautifully for us, but all of us are responsible for reading and studying Torah every week, but especially on Shavuot. You may even be familiar with the fact that there's a tradition of studying all night long on Shavuot. So to give you all credit for having read some Torah as well, Tilly is going to be our Magabiyah, and she's going to lift it up for us. And so please do stay standing. From the book of Ruth that the class will be sharing with us as our Haftarah portion tonight. And if you would like to follow along in the blessings, you can find them beginning on page 512 in your Siddurim.
my Lord and true woman also died. So the woman was left without her 2 sons and without her husband.
She started out with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab. For in the country of Moab she had heard that the Eternal had taken note of God's people and given them food. Accompanied by her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living, and they set out back on the road back to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Turn back, each of you to your mother's house. May the Eternal deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May the Eternal grant that each of you find security in the house of a husband." And she kissed them farewell. They broke into weeping and said to her, "No, we will return to you with your people."
But Naomi replied, "Turn back, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I had any more sons in my body who might be husbands for you? Turn back, my daughters, for I am too old to be married. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I were married tonight and also bore sons, did you wait for them to grow up? Should you, on their own account, devote yourselves from marriage? Oh no, my daughters, my lot is far more bitter than yours, for the hand of the Eternal has struck out against me." They broke into weeping again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law farewell, where Ruth clung to her. So she said, "See, your sister-in-law has returned her people and her gods. Go follow your sister-in-law."
But Ruth replied, "Do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus and more may the Eternal do to me, if anything but death parts me from her." When Naomi saw how determined she was to go with her, she ceased to argue with her, and the 2 went on until they reached Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole city buzzed with excitement over them. The women said, "Can this be Naomi?" "Do not call me Naomi," she replied. "Call me Mara, for Shaddai has made my lot very bitter. I went away full, and the Eternal has brought me back empty. How can you call me Naomi when the Eternal has dealt harshly with me, when Shaddai has brought misfortune upon me?" Thus Naomi returned from the country of Moab. She returned with her daughter-in-law, Ruth the Moabite. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest.
It's now a pleasure to invite Cantor Belinda up in her role both as cantor and as the director of Kivun, our religious school, to say a few words to our confirmands.
Okay, fine. So I'll be brief. We haven't been so long now. I can't believe that, with the exception of Ethan, right? You joined us later. With the exception of Ethan, I've known you guys since you were itty bitty, and I look out in the pews here, and I see all the families who I know and love, who I've been honored to share this journey with for so many, many years. And but you guys who came in later in the game, though, just immediately, almost immediately, right? Just became part of the heart and soul. So to see you standing up here is, I always say this, confirmation service is one of the greatest joys of being in this synagogue, in this space. When you guys each had your bar bat mitzvah, gist though, you know, you guys having a sense of, yeah, I'm taking this on, sure, no problem, I got this, right? And you all had beautiful services and chanted beautifully. And then here you are tonight, as you all spoke to us. And now you've really taken it on. Now, if we were to ask you what are you receiving as you hold the scroll, I bet there would be so many ideas coming out of you and so many inspiring thoughts as you have already inspired us tonight. So hold on to that. Don't let that go. As you have praised Rabbi Bellows tonight for helping you find your Judaism. That is so special. And it has been a joy and an honor to be with you on this journey. And it doesn't stop here, guys. Just remember that. It's just a milestone, so it keeps going. So I will just say to you, Chazak, Chazak, Chazak. There you go. From strength to strength. And you guys have done a beautiful service for us this evening. So, Mazel. It was a lot easier doing the chanting this time, wasn't it? Okay. So what? These guys have been amazing. They just slammed it right in there.
What a privilege it's been to be your teacher this year. It's been incredible to watch you wrestle with what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be a mensch, what it means to try to make an impact on our world and to, as many of you said, make it a better place. It's not easy. That's a challenging part of being Jewish, that mandate, right? We can't be passive. We can't just sit back. And as we've wrestled throughout the year with many current events, including the rise in anti-Semitism, with feeling like being a Jew can sometimes make us feel, I don't know, not as safe as we wish we could feel. Nevertheless, you all only gained a greater sense of pride in your tradition, and only seemed even more grounded in the choice you have made to continue on post-bar and bat mitzvah and even further as adults. I have to commend your parents and your families for giving you the space to make the choice to continue after your bar and bat mitzvah ceremonies. Thank you. Thank you for raising these incredible souls and for letting us share some of their journey with you all. It really, what a joy. What a true joy. As we spoke about when we learned about Reform Judaism, it's not easy. Not only is it not easy being Jew, but, you know, being a Reform Jew is even tougher, right? It would be so easy if I just stood up there and said, this is what it is to be a Jew, and here are the rules, and just follow them, right? Choice is hard. And we heard you all wrestle with that tonight. We heard you wrestle with choice, right? Because in Reform Judaism, we don't just say, Reform, I don't have to do anything, right? Instead, we say, we're going to study this, we're going to wrestle with it, we're going to engage our tradition, and we're going to come away with, as each of you said, what it means to me. It's not easy. You got to own that. And you all do. And I know that there are probably more than a few people here in this congregation tonight who have been inspired by you, who have been inspired by your stories, your own wrestlings and thoughts about God and theology, some of the biggest questions that we face as human beings. Thank you for letting us in, for letting us share it with you. And we wish you such joy as you continue along and continue to wrestle and think and make choices along the way. When the Israelites gathered at the foot of Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, they rejoiced, exclaiming, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will understand. So great was their anticipation that they pledged themselves to follow God even before knowing precisely what was being asked of them. Since that moment, we Jews have been saying first, na'aseh, we will do. And then, nishma, we will understand. Our affinity with our Israelite ancestors inspires us to continue to embrace our heritage in every generation, carrying words of Torah on our lips and in our hearts. Through learning, we are taught the language of our people. We are inspired to observe Jewish customs and to ponder Jewish ideas, even before our minds are ripe enough to understand them. But for this heritage to take root deep in our hearts, we must continually strive to hear the commands of our religion and to learn to appreciate its beautiful teachings. Whatever the circumstances that lead us to this sacred space, we all must pledge to become Jews by choice. We look to you now, our precious confirmands, to take your place as guardians of our sacred heritage, to carry forth God's light and truth into the world. Thus, can you help our people to answer the prophetic call to be a light unto the nations, and to inspire your peers, your family, and everyone you meet to engage in the task of tikkun olam, working in partnership with God for the betterment of our world. And together we say, Amen. Cantor Belinda and I now have the privilege of blessing you all with the priestly blessing, and we are going to do so under this incredible chuppah that Rachel and Tilly made over the last couple of years in their Gesher class, and we've had an opportunity to have Gabe and Ethan add their own names and stamp to them as well. And so for the priestly blessing, please rise. May this be God's will. Thank you, and thank you. We have gifts. Everyone, please be seated. For you, our confirmands. And we have members of our leadership who are here to present them to you. So I'd like to invite up Susan Peck, who will be presenting a gift from our Wednesday morning minion. And also Karen, are you coming on? Karen Berzin, who has been the chairperson of our education committee. Anybody else coming? It's just because they go together. And Karen.
So, I'm just gonna, hopefully, I won't go off anything. It really is a pleasure to continue a tradition that was started by our Wednesday morning minion, a group that meets every Wednesday morning. And we've been doing that for about 15 years or so, 14, 15 years. And it's a wonderful tradition. And as part of that tradition, we have what we call a little pushki. And the pushki is basically a giving box. And every week, whoever comes to the room, it's totally voluntary, however, makes a little contribution to our pushki. And with that money, we've been able to present these gifts year after year to our confirmation class. So it is my pleasure to give this to you. Jake, you're the first one. And this book, of course, is the Hebrew Bible. It has all the tools you need as you begin your journey in life. Ethan, Rachel, and Tilly. Yasher Koach and Mazel Tov.
In your books, you'll find these certificates for your confirmation. And on behalf of the board and on behalf of the education committee, tonight is such an inspiration. And we don't use those words lightly. I know you've heard it 3 times tonight. But truly, it's heart-filled and it's really inspirational. You know, you talked about meeting people who are Jewish and you suddenly don't feel like you're the only Jew. You know, Gabe, you talked about your path to Judaism. You talked about what the word holy and what that meant to you. And you talked about your illness and the stigma behind it and perhaps God's role or not role in it. And those are really big topics. So thank you for sharing your views. And again, on behalf of the education committee, Yasher Koach and Mazel Tov. Brad, would you want to come up? To the conference?
I just want to, just on behalf of the board, I just want to congratulate you and always, please always know that you always have a Jewish home here. I say that with so much seriousness and always know that you have a place always to come here, continue your studies here, your learning of God here, your learning of Judaism, but it doesn't stop when you go to college, it doesn't stop at any point. You always have a home here, we'll always welcome you. Congratulations.
We're really proud of you, you can tell. And one of the things you have done as a class, as evidence of your place within our communities, you also have elected to give a gift back to the congregation. And so Ethan's going to spend a moment talking about that gift.
Okay, so our gift to the temple is new prayer books for the high holidays, and we decided to give back those, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ethan is referring to a brand new book that's being published, it's not even out yet, called Mishkan Halev, which is a special prayer book being made just for Slichot. Slichot, which is the kind of holiday right before the high holidays. And so thank you. Thank you so much to all of you for selecting such a meaningful gift, and we will always think of you when we enter the holy season. Okay, you guys can take a seat. We'll start with you. Tonight we also, very fittingly as we talk about educational milestones, honor a woman who has been such an important and integral part of our education here at CBSRZ. And so for this presentation, I'd like to invite
Cantor Belinda back up. And Rachel and Tilly have a few words to share as well. More on Debbie. Debbie Trautman. You're welcome to come on.
And then also, if Karen come up, if Brad come up, so we can surround you with our presence. We all have words to share. These guys are the student reps.
So the year we spent with you, it was really important for reassuring that we weren't just like born into being Jewish, but that we really wanted to be Jewish.
The year was challenging and busy, but without all the hard work we put into the class, we wouldn't be as confident with our Hebrew as we are today.
We also realized that some of the classes were a struggle to teach, including ours. But you teach us and pushed us to learn more.
You not only taught us the prayers, but you also helped us discover each of their unique meanings.
And not only did you help us learn more about Judaism, but you also gave us a chance to discover other religions by exploring other places to see what they meant to others.
So, in preparation for what I was going to say, I did some math. Anyone who knows me knows, don't hold me to this. But we've been lucky enough to have you here for 22 years. And we finished 28 Sundays. And there are many, many Wednesdays. So that comes to 2,970 days over 20 years that we have had you here on a Wednesday or a Sunday. And I can't thank you enough as a parent, as an education committee chair, as a congregant. You know, if my numbers are off, they might be, your dedication isn't, and all the time you've put in. So truly, truly, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Debbie, wow. Just like Karen said, I think, as a former education chair, but also just, when I think of this congregation, there's people, there's a handful of people that are just always here and part of this congregation and give so much year in and year out. And I'm celebrating my 20th year in this congregation. There's someone else here celebrating 20th year. But what's been, and I think I represent all parents here, you, Evelyn, Belinda, you've always been here for our children. And there's been so many others, but particularly that's what I remember from the very beginning. And I just want to, from all the parents, I just want to thank you for your years of service and dedication and enriching our children's lives and educating them so well. I still remember all the, taking both of my kids when they were to the comparative religion, different institutions, different religious institutions, and enjoying that and learning so much with my children, with you. Thank you so much. We can miss you so much, and you've given so much to this congregation. We can never repay you. Thank you.
On this Festival of Shavuot, and this beautiful service that's led by our confirmation class, hallelujah about Torah, about commitment, I came across a quote that says, if a teacher does not involve herself, her whole self, her values, her commitment in the course of discussion, why should the student? 22 years, you have involved your whole self. How many days, Karen? Not just those days, because we forget when you're a teacher, you're in prep mode kind of all the time. When you're out in the store, oh, that would be great, right? I can see all teachers' heads going up. Right? You're out in the store and oh, that would be great for my students, or what am I going to do on this day, or how do I get them to do? The brain is constantly going, so it's more than even all of that huge number of hours. And you're the role model that we all dream about as far as the teacher for our students. You live this Jewish it's ritual. You love teaching the ritual part. You love teaching the ethics part. You love teaching the tikkun olam part. I mean, you're constantly at the soup kitchen. You're infusing our kids with all of who we are as Jews all the time. You are putting your whole self into us, into our families, our children all the time. You've done that for us. And as Brad said, it's a gift that we can never repay for. And I just want to wish you all of the most wonderful things that life has to offer as we kind of start shifting gears. But even that said, so we kind of have a little bit of a deal here, right? It's not like Debbie's going away. And she's still part of our congregation, but as things come up, things keep on tutoring, and as things come up, you're still here, right? All of these witnesses. So it is an honor to be able to present you to actually one of the gifts. We have another one. It's actually a bigger gift that sort of got hung up in the processing in the mailing mode. So it's arriving tomorrow. So you have to come back. It's a part B. Well, not tomorrow because it's Shavuot. But you have to come back to get part B of the gift. But in the meantime, it's just a little something for us. And the rest is coming. Thank you so much.
Can I just say how much very, very briefly, I just want to say how much I've learned from my students, and all those days have been filled. And working with you after. Come on. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maura, Debbie, from the bottom of our hearts. Friends, it's also traditional during Shavuot, as one of the Shalosh Regalim, to observe Yizkor, which is our memorial service observed 4 times a year during Yom Kippur, and then during Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot. So we're going to now turn in our Sidurim to page 574. page 575. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity and youth to age. From innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing. From foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom. From weakness to strength or strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness, and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. But life is a journey, from birth to death to life everlasting. Together on page 576, this translation of Psalm 23. A psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I lack nothing. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me to water in places of repose. God renews my life. God guides me in right paths as befits God's name. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my drink is abundant. Only goodness and success shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai for many long years. I am ever mindful of Adonai's presence. God is at my right hand. I shall never be shaken. So my heart rejoices, my whole being exults, and my body rests secure. For you will not abandon me to Sheol, or let your faithful ones see the pit. You will teach me the path of life. In your presence is perfect joy. Delights are ever in your right hand. Page 579. L'chol ish yesh shem, shenatan lo Elohim, v'natnu lo aviv ve'imo. Each person has a name. We each have a name given by God and given by our father and mother. We each have a name given by our stature and smile and given by our attire. We each have a name given by the hills and given by the walls. We each have a name given by the stars and given by our friends. We each have a name given by our sins and given by our yearnings. We each have a name given by our enemies and given by love. We each have a name given by celebrations and given by our work. We each have a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. We each have a name given by the sea and given by our death. Tonight we mark the passing of all those who are members of our community or relatives or dear friends, members of our community from last Shavuot till tonight. If you hear the name of a loved one on this list and you're comfortable doing so, you may rise when you hear his or her name. And then we will all rise to join you for the silent Yizkor blessing on page 580. Tonight we are marking the passing of Tom Doyle, Denise Avina, Simon Indiana, Jackie Michael, Henry Landauer, Laura Hessline, Joseph Joe Bergonzi, Bernie Slater, Debbie Stewart, Betty Gilman, Esther Starkman, Philip Berzin, Shifra Kirschman Scholler, Peggy Tunick, Marilyn Malinsky, Bennett Nilstein, Mark and Brenda Richards, Robert Kopp, and in a true sense of Lador Vador from generation to generation, a cousin of one of our confirmands and beloved member of our community, remembered today, Harvey Redak. For the silent Yizkor blessing, please rise.
compassionate God on high, to our loved ones who have entered eternity, grant clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold them in the embrace of your wings. Secure their souls in eternity. Adonai, they are yours. They will rest in peace. Together we say, Amen. We now remain standing and turn to page 586 for Aleinu. We also remember tonight all those who came before us, for whom our tradition, our values, our teachings, our heritage were so dear. Those who led to this wonderful night and who we know, even if they're not with us in body, are certainly here in spirit. If anyone is observing a Shiva, Shloshim, or Yortzeit and would like to share a name out loud, you are invited to do so.
I'll get you, Leah.
Eleanor Tillis.
Zichronam Livracha, may all of their memories always be for a blessing. Together now we join in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbav, v'almad yirach v'yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayekon v'yomechon v'chayet kol Beit Yisrael, v'adalah v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbav v'orach le'olam lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei t'kudshah Kol Yisrael, V'Yiru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Rumav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'Yiru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say together, Amen. Our class had a special request for our closing song. It's a lot of fun. Many of you may know it. If you do, please sing along. And then, of course, please join us for a celebratory oneg in the back of the room in the social hall so that we can continue celebrating our incredible students. So, wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish.
You know what? I can't think